you got?
And I had to go tell my teacher sorry.
She was a really fun teacher though.
She was.
She's me and Leah's cousin.
Till she fainted.
She fainted and Dad was teaching a little bit that year and he came up there and said, okay, I'm going to be your teacher now. And
Wait,
knew
I
I
am the
was
captain
gonna
now.
catch it at home.
Did you see that video where the hijacker took over a ship? And he said, no, I am the captain now. That's my system. I am the captain.
Except for. So if you're teaching again next year, that's going to be 7 years of 3 teachers.
Not bad.
Ruby taught me 3 years, Trenton taught me 2, and if you teach me 2.
I had significantly more teachers than that.
I've had Marilyn, Jody, Ruby, Derek, Trenton, and Fred.
I pretty much had a new teacher every year. Except Mr.
Derek and Derek, you guys are the only ones that could put up with
Me.
Well, see, but Ruby led for 3 months, but Gladys taught for those 3 months. I almost count her as a teacher, but I'm not sure if I should.
Alright.
3 months of substitution. She taught me 3 years, so yeah, you 3 years. Yeah, because Jody taught me the last year I was there.
Right. Only have 5 teachers.
Yeah, Derek taught me 2.
I had a teacher full hair.
What?
Not her own hair, somebody else's. Granted, there were children fighting in the hallway, but.
Were
she
you
did
what
not have-
happened?
What happened?
Well,
If you
two
know
of my friends, I was obviously not involved.
You.
As a good little child.
Why did you have such a bad grade?
Because we got a lot wrong. We
I
wanted
think
to
you were
discuss
enjoying your red pen.
it. It hurts me every time I write an X down.
Oh, how bad?
Look at this.
probably
Mr.
probably
Let's
good
use
stuff
that
there.
pen.
That's like a good store hand.
Yeah, I'm a writer's cramp. Writing X's. Yeah, so the
It
story.
probably
They
makes him
were.
probably makes him so sad that it wasn't happy probably. So he's probably
What
happy
happened?
about it.
I had 2 friends. Good children.
Which?
Not even close.
And yeah. They, were starting their own WWE
Wow.
thing in the hallway. There was some kickboxing going on. A little stranglehold for a while. Anyway, some of us were standing around cheering.
Yeah, we should start that.
Yeah.
I know.
I would probably have shut it down. And then
By pulling your
Miss Janine came, and they both had beanies on for some random reason. She yeeted the beanies off and then took another handful after that.
Ariana, she sat on Chad and Randall at the same time. Ariana sat on Chad and Randall at the same time. She was fighting with them. So she put them both to the ground and sat on both of them.
That's stupid.
What is her problem?
In first grade.
Oh,
In the first grade, I
okay,
think
okay.
it was literally anything. I also had students who hit each other.
What?
2 8th graders.
Were they like
They were
the
playing
teenies?
flag football.
Oh. 8th grade?
Were they
8th
mad?
graders.
Or were they just
I think the one was pretty angry.
Because they were fighting.
Yeah, so like
Kinda
it
ignorant.
turned into tackle football. I was preparing a science lesson, which I should have known better, because they had kind of been doing this all day long. Anyway, and yeah, so they were playing flag football and turned into tackle football. Yeah, boom! Chunky
What is
kid smashed
flag
the little
football?
kid, little kid. Basically, instead of tackling, you just have flags that you grab on.
Yeah.
It works. It's a good system. Anyway, take some of the violence out of football. Except in that case it didn't.
Just put more in.
Yeah, well, so he grabbed the flag, tackled the kid, and laid on top of him and bit his leg.
What?
Wow. I would have been the neck or something.
why did I not?
Was he swallowed?
Oh
spank the
You laugh
Whip
at
them.
them and send them home.
No, you whipped them. You whipped
Dad got spanked.
Oh, I tell you now,
We're
I'm gonna
gonna
be
call
with-
Mervin, catch him a bad name.
David got
I
spanked
love that part.
It's 6th or 7th grade by Joel, future brother-in-law. I would not like that.
You got FBI.
No, David did.
Oh.
And,
That's fine.
and Dad got spanked by Marvin Ketchum again because he wrote on a girl's card, I write on pink because you stink.
And then,
Can I have some
the
help?
yearbook?
Yeah,
How
the
did
yearbook.
he still spank you?
We have.
Well, it was at the end of the year. They were signing yearbooks. And so he wrote, and one girl, like, I write on pink because you stink. Thank you for it.
All right.
That is really
That's
funny.
funny. That sounds exactly like something I did with you.
No, it doesn't.
It is cool.
Yes,
I
it
can
does.
I can say I did it.
Yeah, but when they get spanked, he screams before they even start getting
So does Becky and Benji.
More
The
intimidation.
cry gets louder and
All right.
louder as they head to the bedroom.
It's not
Alrighty,
as well with kids.
onward and upward.
Boy, it's a good thing you checked your lesson.
Yes, it is. So, first things first is we're going to talk about today's lesson and we're going to go through some review.
Graphs.
So,
See, I had it written down by this, so I knew I did it. Because the last time I did graphs, I skipped a little. So that's why it's done written. So you knew they were done?
alright, so we're going to jump in here.
Oh, man. This
Number
is
one,
just
page
about-
313. We're kind of just going to jump in, alright? So, we're going to be talking about factoring by grouping. So we can factor a whole entire, no. We can factor a whole entire polynomial, right? So we know how to factor a trinomial. Trinomials are pretty easy, but we're going to start talking about bigger ones, like polynomials with 4 terms, for example. All right. So, first thing we have to do is we have to group the terms into pairs that contain a common coefficient or a common variable, right? So, for example, our first problem is this one. Everybody's on this graph?
Oh, they were nice and put it in our work. Look at number 1, you see in the first example.
Exactly. It's close. No, it's not quite. Not quite. They have 2x.
Plus 2y. It
2xy.
is exactly.
It's exactly the right thing. All right, so here's the deal. So they have 2x plus xy minus 3y and minus 6. All right? So here's the deal. We're going to start out, we have to group these things into things that have common terms or variables. All right? So if you look at this, you can see this one and this one are kind of, I mean, we could group them, so we're going to. We're going to write over here 2x minus 6. That's a group of variables. And then over here, we'll put plus in front of it. Over here we have this. We have xy minus 3y, which we can lump as well, because notice that they each have a y. We could lump it a different way too, but this is going to be one thing.
They have it. No, they have the -3, -6.
You can lump them several different ways.
Well, how do you know?
Well, they're lumping the ones with x.
Why not go with the law?
I suppose it might work. Well, probably because the 3 and the 6 work better together than the 2 and the 6 do. I suppose that could be. So they went xy plus 2x. I think the outcome doesn't particularly matter. Like, it kind of winds up working no matter what. So we'll start here by just, all we're doing in this first section is just grouping the two binomials. We're not actually factoring anything. All right, so this is what you're going to write. You're going to write now 2x plus xy plus negative 3y minus 6. All right, so that's your answer for number 1. That's all you need to write down. You're just going to group it into two binomials. All right. So your second one, for instance, how would we group that one? How would you go about grouping that one?
Negative 15 and minus 6 plus negative 14 minus 35.
Is that how they do it?
No.
I did them 15, 35, and 14, 6.
15m minus 35 and 14n minus 6mn. So the reason you would do that is because of the n variable, but why?
I want the n.
Why not the n? One of the important things to do is to keep the signs with their numbers.
Negative 14, negative 6.
They want negative 14n minus 6n, mn, negative 14m minus 6mn. Notice here we're keeping our terms with them. We'll plus 15m
Negative 15. Maybe they don't have negative in there.
Yeah.
needs to be a negative. The answer there, the answer no. Yeah, it does have to be negative. Alright.
The 14 is the n.
Sorry.
So on three, do you pair up the D's or the E's?
They pair up the D's.
So it doesn't.
Maybe it seems to me like they're doing alphabetically. They're doing the first one, they're doing the first one that comes alphabetically. So they go negative DE plus 2D
Not in two though, because we did n.
L M N. Yeah, that makes no sense.
So negative
I'm trying to
3.
decide
Okay, maybe like,
what their
so
rule
you know
is.
the ones where there's like the, so in number 4 they use x,
Mm-hmm.
and in number 5 they use x squared.
And they'll use Y.
Why didn't you want? I thought I saw it because
That's what I'm struggling with, is why they're
So
doing
far,
that. What's their reasoning?
so far they had used the first letter of those two.
So Y is obviously a bigger, like you wind up with a bigger fish to fry down there with the Y squared plus 2x squared y squared. When you factor that in the end, you can actually factor it down farther. But why they do that is a little bit beyond me. I know, but I'm not seeing them come up with any reason, so I'm going to have to come up with my own. The original polynomial. Terms are arranged in two terms with a like variable, so sometimes there's more than one like variable. And that's what throws me off because the x squared should work as well as the y squared. But maybe what they're doing,
That means in 6, which one do they use? Y?
in the 6, I would say the y. That's what they did, yes. So here's maybe what they're doing is when they're looking ahead to the factoring process, and what they're saying is they want to get it as close to, they want to get the smallest number possible out of it. So when you factor the 4x squared minus 12, we get a smaller number, and then negative 3y squared plus x squared y squared. You get a smaller number at the end of the factor. So that makes sense, but they're not really explaining that at this point. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. At this point, we'll just we'll make sure we have all these first 6 done the way they have them, and then we'll talk about the solutions for the next section, which is the factoring part. All right, you have all those correct.
I think so.
So 2 14m minus 6m plus negative 15m minus 35. 3 was negative DE plus 2D.
It's plus.
Negative, Christie. That's for number 2, that's negative 15m.
Is she watching?
She will later. Alright. Good deal. Alright, so now we'll jump into this next part. Which is number 7. first things first, we want to group our stuff, and then we'll factor after. All right? And remember, these have to be joined. When you group them into binomials, you have to join them with a plus sign in the middle, right? All right, so here's the deal. We'll start here with our xy plus 2x. Well, minus 3y minus 6. How would you go about grouping that? If you were you?
I know, but maybe you have the same problems, just mixed up a little bit in here.
No, we just moved them around with this. We have our xy and our 2x. Or we can go 2x. We can go 2x plus xy if we wish. 2x plus xy. All right, now here we get plus negative 3y minus 6. All right, so now we just have to factor this, right? And to factor this, what we do is this.
It's divisible by 3.
So we can divide this over here by 3. Actually, we're going to divide it by negative 3. Does that make sense? All right. So we get negative 3, and then we have what?
Negative y. No, just y.
No, just y. We already divided by negative 3 and plus 2. All right. So that's on one side. So notice here how this changed. We're just going to leave this here in the middle, and over here, how would we factor this?
X on the outside.
X on the outside, and on the inside we have
2 and 1. 2 plus
2 plus y. All right. So
That's
now we
on
have
the
it
side.
here.
Oh. You can.
So what we're going to do,
Wow.
right?
Get rid of
If
them?
you notice here, we have our y plus 2. So what we're going to do
It's the
is
same
this.
thing.
Right. So we're going to take these two, and we're going to go x minus 3 times 2 plus y. The reason we can do this, well, there is a reason. Should I go into it? I don't feel like
So
I
that's
But there's a reason we can do this. We take these numbers that are pulled out, and so that's why they were separated in the way they were. They were trying to make them so that they'd come out the same once they factor. So they're just taking them a step farther. This is our answer, x minus 3 times 2 plus
This is
y.
pretty easy.
Right. It's not too bad. They're taking you carefully one step at a time toward certain destruction. No, it's actually, it's not too bad in the end. All right, so let's go ahead, let's factor 6mn. We've already
Oh
factored
yeah, that
this.
one is negative 14 and negative 6 and 1.
All right, you said, yeah, 6mn minus 14 is 6mn minus 14 n for our first one. And for our second one, what do we have?
Negative 15 and minus 35.
So you say that's negative
15.
negative 15 plus 35. All right, so now we factor each of these out till they come to the same thing, essentially. All right, so what can we divide this by?
5.
Divide by 5, and we get,
It's negative 5 actually.
we'll have a negative 5, that'll work. And we get
3m
3m
minus 7.
minus 7, all right? And on this side, what do we divide by?
2.
2. We go 2, and then on the inside we get
3 and then.
No, do 2n.
2n on the outside.
Oh.
That's right. We've got the 2n, so we get 3m minus 7. Perfect. So our answer then will be
2n minus 5.
2n minus 5 times 3m minus 7. That is the answer for number 8. All right.
So basically, like, for 9, then you do 15 and 10 because they get easier to stack, and then 10.
Yeah, so you wind up with 15x plus 10 to the 1, and 6xy plus 4y.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's going to come out better, because basically the deal is you're planning ahead to your factoring.
Yeah.
So that's all their system is. So you're planning ahead to the fact that you're going to be able to factor each of them until you get 3x plus 2 and 2y plus 5. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. I want to let you loose on these to work them here, but I also want to go over this system of equations.
So number 9, it's 2y plus 5 on top, or in what form, parentheses?
You get 2y plus 5 and
3x plus 2.
3x plus 2 is correct.
This is pretty easy.
One of the things to note is that you can have a common factor of 1. Like say for example on that one. No, we don't have 1.
10?
Not even 10.
Because
Oh,
it's,
no.
it's negative 3x, but there's just one y then. What do you do it by? X?
So you
Oh, yeah,
divide by
X.
y. So you have 7y and, let me see, you have 7y and x plus an xy. So you
Is that the
factor
one
by
you're
y.
using? The
So what?
xy on that one? Or is it 7y?
So they have
minus
7y and
21?
xy together. And they have negative 3x and negative 21,
Mm.
right? So you
I'm doing it the
factor,
other way.
you're doing it the other way?
How did they have it?
They have the 7y plus xy, and they have the negative 3x minus 21. And it does say that no matter which grouping is chosen, the final result will be the same. It says that actually just over there on page 314. So it doesn't really matter how you group it apparently. Your result will wind up being the same. You group them however it makes you happy.
So on the 11, you'd do the 6 and 12? No, you wouldn't.
Well, go ahead and do it however you wish. Apparently it doesn't
12
matter.
and 9.
Apparently,
I don't know which one's you.
well, here, look, I'll just show you. I'll do this both ways for you.
Either of
See.
them.
All right. So we have our
12
8. Our original is 8rs
Minus 12r.
minus 12r
Minus 6x.
minus 6x s
X. Plus 9.
plus 9. All right.
So I
So
would
we
do
can
the-
group this however we want, right? We can group it with the s's or we can group it with the r's. So let's go ahead and group this 8rs minus 12r.
And that's the way I would do it.
So that's gonna be the one way, and then we'll have on the other side we'll have
6x.
negative 6s
Plus 9.
plus 9. All right. So we'll just factor each of these out. We'll get this one over here. We can factor by which?
2 or 4.
We'll factor by 4r. All right.
2x.
2s
Minus 3.
3r. No, just 3. Right. And then over here we'll factor this one.
By 3.
We can factor by negative 3. It'd be easier.
Yeah, negative 3. So
Negative
2x
3. 2s
minus 3.
minus 3. Alright, so notice how that came out. So we have a 2s
Yeah.
minus 3 and a 4r minus 3.
So 4.
Alright, so now I'm going to try this. I'll try this again.
I did it a different way than obviously.
Yeah, you can't do it the other
I
way?
did A and 6 and 12 and
Right. So in the end, it doesn't matter how you did it. You can do it either way and it'll work. They did it a different way in the book as well. So yeah, so you can do 8rs minus 6s and negative 12r plus 9. And you can factor each one out. So we'll factor this one by, well, say 2s. And we'll get 4r
is done.
That's kind of cool. Who would have seen that one? All right, let's talk about the systems of equation of multiplication and addition.
Okay. I got some of those wrong.
Yes, you did.
Got 1, 2, 3,
That's what
4,
we're gonna talk
5.
about them. All right, so we have 3x, 13.
And 14.
We have 3x minus 2y minus 13. And 5x plus 3y minus equals negative 47. All right, so what do we do here? What do we have to do? What's our system?
You need to times 2 by side, times 8,
Or, so you can multiply both of them as well, if you wish.
or 3 to come up.
So we could multiply this one by 2 and this one by 3. That would work. Because then we get a 6y, we get a negative 6y, and we get a positive 6y. See what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So then it's just, we have to remember what we're doing here. So we're
So
multiplying this one by
6x.
3, which is going to give us
Wait a
9x.
minute. Plus 10x.
And then this one is going to give us 10x. Over here, we multiply negative 13 by 3, which is negative 39. And here we multiply negative 47 by 2, which is going to give us, let me get a calculator.
I don't know. Actually,
94.
Yes.
I can't do that. I can't do it.
What's 45 times 2? Easy question. 45 times 2 is 90. So then just, where you go 50 times 2.
Yeah, I know that's
6.
100.
Will also work. All right. Perfect. So now we have this together. Now what do we do?
Then you solve it. It would be negative x.
Negative x? Why?
9 minus, oh no.
19x
19x.
equals.
This goes away. It'll be equals.
Negative
137. I mean 130.
133.
133. All right. So now you can use your calculator if you wish, because I don't know how to do this number. Divide both sides by 19. We get x equals.
Negative.
Negative 7?
Yeah.
All right. So now we know that x equals negative 7. So we put it in our pair. Which one? All right. Biggest one. Yes, you're correct. And that's something somebody missed. Somebody dropped the negative
On
and
which
it
number?
actually changes the outcome significantly. All right, so now you just solve this, one of these, the simplest one for x equals negative 7. So that'll give us
Do the 21.
What I do. So I go 3, negative 7, negative 2y. Don't skip this step, by the way. We'll mess up your results.
No. That's just gonna write negative 21 minus
Well,
2y equals
well,
negative
no,
14.
just write down this way and then write negative 21. Minus 2y equals negative 13.
Well,
What are we doing? We're skipping steps. Now what do we do? 21 on each.
Which is gonna be 8.
Negative 2y equals positive 8.
Divided by negative 2.
All right. So we have negative 7, negative 4. That's our answer for 13. All right. Cody, you had a question earlier on math.
I don't like
Did you figure it out?
And then on number 14, can you do the same thing, times it by 3 on the top one? Was that not allowed and 12 on the bottom one?
Yeah, so.
Would you times it by 12 on the bottom one?
Just times the bottom one by 4.
I would multiply, yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Multiply
that
by
works out.
4. Because that would give your y time to work. You don't have to multiply both of them. You can, but you don't have to. Right? We had to in this situation because of our Because
Yeah.
there's no way to make them come out
But-
really easily.
On last lesson, what was 39?
39, 721.
See, but I did that one, I used 1.5 on
What did you do?
3 and negative 10.
I used one.
I had negative 27.
I know. That's why I marked it wrong.
If on number 13, if you're going to answer the problem for 1.5, but it's
Well, I mean, it would technically work.
it's just fun.
This is harder. Yeah, it's kind of another reason why there's a lot of hardness. So what they did is they actually, for 39, what they did is they canceled out the x. They multiplied by negative 3. They multiplied the top one by negative 3. And that gave them a negative 6x and a negative 9y and a positive 72. So that's what they pulled off of that.
Uh-oh.
See?
Yeah, but then on number 15 it comes out to 13x equals 48.
15 and 72?
Yeah.
14 you mean?
Yeah,
You have what? How did you do it?
that times the bottom one by 2. Oh, I forgot to times 2 by 2.
How did you pull that?
You
should have multiplied by
4. I
4.
mean.
Yes.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, and if you need to multiply 53 by 4 as well.
So 212. Then I got 207 equals 13x.